Hi everyone, this is Tarikazi Chaudhary on behalf of Lamad representing the recent judgment of Supreme Court and High Court of our country India. Today here I am going to discuss about the recent judgment of Supreme Court on section 377 of Indian Penal Code. Gay sex is not a crime, says Supreme Court in his strict judgment. Highlights: the Delhi High Court in 2009 decriminalized sex between consenting adults of the same gender. This 2009 judgment was overturned in 2013 by the Supreme Court, which then also dismissed a review plea. In 2017, the Supreme Court said privacy is a fundamental right, which opened the door for fresh pleas to decriminalize gay sex. Now I am going to discuss the judgment in details. In a historic judgment, the Supreme Court on Thursday ruled that consensual adult gay sex is not a crime, saying sexual orientation is natural and people have no control over it. The judgment by a constitution bench of Country Top Court has defined the British era section 377 of Indian Penal Code, which deemed that gay sex is a punishable offence. Now it is no longer an offence under section 377 to engage in consensual gay sex in private. Thursday's judgment held a new tone for personal liberty and is a major victory for LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community that has been fighting hard and persistently to legalize gay sex. The law must be interpreted as per the requirement of changing times, said Supreme Court in its judgment. Consensual sex between adults in a private space which is not harmful to women or children cannot be denied, as it is a matter of individual choice. Section 377 results in discrimination and is a violation of constitutional principles, says the Supreme Court. The five-judge Constitution Bench, comprising Chief Justice of India CJI Deepak Mishra and Justice RF Nirman, AM Khanwilkar, D.Y. Chandrachud and Indu Malhotra, was unanimous in its decision. Section 377 is irrational, arbitrary and incomprehensible, as it fetters the right to equality for LGBT community. LGBT community possess same equality as other citizens, said CJI Deepak Mishra. What society thinks, the judges said, has no say when it comes to people's freedom. Social morality cannot violate the rights of even one single individual, said Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra and Justice Khanwilkar. Society owes an apology to the LGBT community, said Justice Malhotra. Members of LGBT community, members and other family members are owed an apology from society for being denied equal rights over the years, said Justice Malhotra. The Supreme Court ruled in August 2017 that every individual has a fundamental right to privacy, which is a part of right to life, and sex is private. The judges on Thursday referred to that as well. The right to privacy as part of right to life applies fully to the LGBT community, said by CJI Deepak Mishra. We have finally got justice. We are finally Azad in Azad Hind, said Ashok Rao Kavi, LGBT rights activist and founder of Humsafar Trust, after the apex court's judgment. Justice Chandrachud said Section 377 had thus far destroyed gay people's identity. Punishment under Section 377 made the LGBT a closet community, destroyed the identity of the members, and reached their dignity. All parts of right of life. The state has no business to get into controlling the private lives of LGBT community members or for the matter that if any citizen, he said, a long, hard fight. There were indications earlier that the SC favored legalizing gay sex. All through the hearing, all through the hearing of the plea, the apex court had been dropping bold hints. It indicated relief from the stringent section of 377. Still, it was the same court that in 2017 overturned a Delhi High Court that decriminalized gay sex, so it was by no means a given which way the court would go Thursday. The top court's verdict was previously set to be delivered on July 2017, but on that day it was decided to reserve its verdict. But even as it did that, a bench of Chief Justice Deepak Mishra, Justice R.F. Nariman, A.M. Khanwilkar, D.Y. Chandrachud, and Idhu Malhotra brushes aside as far-fetched arguments from opponents of decriminalizing Section 377. These opponents said making gay sex legal could lead to incest, group sex, and sodomy also being made legal. Prior to reversing the verdict, the bench had, in what was yet another indication of which was it could go, also disapproved of arguments that a majority of the population in India is against legalizing gay sex. We decide questions of law on basis of constitutional principles and its ethos, and not based on a referendum, said the Supreme Court's Constitution bench at that time. The Supreme Court was firm that no community, however small it may be by comparison to the majority, could be deprived of its sexual right and expression of sexual orientation. While the top court acknowledged that sex as part the order of nature was seen as intercourse between a man and a woman for the purpose of procreation, the fact that it had already recognized a third gender needs to be kept in mind. It could have come from the Bible or any other religious text, but the Supreme Court has already recognized unique sexual orientation when it created third gender apart from male and female conventionally used till date, it has said. The five-judge bench was also declined to entertain. The five-judge bench was also disinclined to entertain persistent requests from various organizations to leave the decision on decriminalizing Section 377 to Parliament, given the wide ramification of legalization of gay sex on matrimonial and civil laws. The moment there was a finding that a provision violates the fundamental rights of citizens, this court has the power to strike it down, irrespective of the majority and government's power to repeal, amend, or enact law. It is for us to strike it down the moment something violates fundamental rights, said back in July 2 years ago. A petition was filed by dancer N.S. Johar, journalist Sunil Mehra, Chief Ritu Dalmia, hotelier Amarnath, and business executive Aisha Kapoor, who said that Section 377 violated their right to privacy and personal liberty. But even while their petition were pending, a 9-judge bench of Supreme Court ruled in August 2017 that every individual has a fundamental right to privacy, which is a part of the right to life. That opened the door for fresh pleas to decriminalize gay sex, the argument being that it is a private act. The issue of Section 377 was first raised by an NGO, Naz Foundation, which in 2001 approached the Delhi High Court that then decriminalized sex between consenting adults of the same gender by holding the penal provision illegal. This 2009 judgment of the High Court was overturned in 2013 by Supreme Court, which restored the criminality of consensual gay sex. And at last, the 377 was declined by the Supreme Court. And legalize the right of LGBT. This much for today. And at last, I want to say that please don't forget to subscribe our channel Law Mantra for more legal updates.